So here we've got a very basic animation of the camera and the X-Wing just moving around, whoop-de-doo. But this is going to be the basis of our scene. Now I've created it looping as well, which is awesome. So now it's just all about adding the terrain and the clouds and making it look schmick. All I have is a simple sky texture going into the background just for the world material. Now back into layout, we want to add in our terrain. So starting off, I'm going to select everything and press H to hide. Press N, and now I'm going to be using true terrain just to quickly put something in. Let's go add landscape, zoom in a bit. I'm going to pick large terrain. There we go, that looks good. Let's increase the mesh size to 50 by 50. So now it's a pretty gigantor piece. And the subdivisions as well, I'm going to multiply by 2 just to give it some extra love. Now, all I'm going to be doing is adding materials. I'm not going to be adding any extra assets because we're so far away. So in the shader, add material. And I'm going to want one material for the cliffs, one material for the grounds. Now let's just look at the ground. I kind of want, I don't know, maybe like a brownie color, so I can actually pick color specific. And let's go desert. What do you look like? That one there's not too bad. I like that one. However, the material obviously isn't tiling because of all the awesomeness that true terrain does. But I do kind of want the mountains to be a different color. And so I want to add in kind of like that extra color here on the cliff faces. So from here, I'm going to change ground to cliffs. Let's go click to use. There we go. So now it's going to be adding in cliffs. Now these cliffs, do we have some sort of rockiness? That one there's not too bad. However, the mountains aren't really that prominent. So I'm going to select our mesh, tab into edit mode, select everything. Scale Z by 2.5 maybe. There we go. Look at that. Much better. Mwah. Let's take that. Now there is a whole bunch of blending options, but I'm not going to go into that. I really like how that material is looking. So we're just going to go off this for now. I am though probably going to go G, Z minus 10. Let's move it down. So let's go about here-ish per se. If I go Alt H now, we can see pretty much a massive difference in scale. So let's just multiply this by maybe 5. Yeah, that's a bit better. And then we can move that down. So I'm going to try and mimic roughly the scale, even though when we go into camera view, we might not see the full distance. That's okay. Now, specifically, I did have the camera more above than sideways, because then we have to think about render distance a lot further, and I don't want that. That's just going to increase the render times. So that's why I've gone from more of a downward approach. Now, the next thing is let's add some clouds. So let's go save. Let's go plane. And so I've got a little plane here. I'm just going to increase the size of this thing ginormously. Where are we looking? Yep, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to move this all the way down so it roughly matches the scale. Nice. Now, jumping over into GeoScatter, I've already set this up. This is a new add-on released by B Productions not long ago. The Clouds one, Clouds V2. I've already installed the scatter stuff. There's a video on how he did it. But from here, what I can do is now go biome selector, open biomes, reload please. There we go. And now I've got a whole bunch of cloud biomes to pick from. And then I don't want too many clouds, maybe Cloudscape 13. Let's have a look. And you can see now how that's added a few more clouds. I want something a little bit more dense, just like me. Let's go Cloudscape 23. And you have to understand that this is kind of like a whole bunch of volumes being brought in. So just be prepared for that. Cool, I reckon that's gonna be fine. Let's just get rid of that now. Now I wanna hide my plane because I don't want it emitting. So let's just turn the plane off. Actually, let's just bring it back real quick. And we're gonna select the plane, then select my mountains, Control P, parent to object, keep transformation. And now when I move the mountain range, the clouds move as well. So coming into camera mode, let's select our landscape and we'll come to frame 0, frame 1. And I want to move it all the way so it's about here. So I've got the full view of the map. Let's press I to set a location. And then we'll come over to frame 300-ish. And then I'm going to move it all the way back like so. and then I location. And you can see that we've got a Bezier curve on it. So it starts slow and then moves faster and faster. We don't want that. So with the keyframes down the bottom selected, I'm going to press T for Tom and go linear for interpolation. And then it's going to be kind of like a standard thing like that. There we go. Now the big question is, do we see clouds? Might have to bring the clouds a little bit lower. They look like they're right there. I'm just going to bring that back. Let's press F12 and we'll just do a quick test render. And the donkey that I am, I hid the plane, but I didn't hide it from render. So let's change that on the plane. Let's make sure we've hidden it from render by pressing that little camera, and we'll hide that one as well. Now when we do another test render, and that's pretty much giving me the effect that I'm after. Absolutely awesome. Now that I think about it, let's maybe streamline this a little bit because the render times are going to be a little bit big. And that's on my graphics card as well. So rather than having a, oh my goodness, there's all clouds up here as well. So far out. Right, that's yeah, okay. Let's get rid of them. Let's work out which clouds we can get rid of. I want those ones. I don't know which ones those are, so let's select that. That can be removed, and this is probably the really big one at the top there. Let's remove that. Now I'm pretty happy with how that looks, but now you might be going, hey Marco, how do you make it a looping animation? Well, let me tell you something. From here, I'm actually going to go into my asset browser, and this all comes part of the clouds. Let's go into clouds. I want a big get stuffed thick cloud. So those are too thick. Probably something like this one. And we're going to dump that one there. Let's go Alt-R, Alt-G to reset the rotation and location. Rotate X 90 degrees. And I'm going to scale that puppy there. Now what I want to do is I want to put this on frame 300-ish. Yep, we'll put that one about there. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure that it blocks off as much as possible of the screen. So probably about here, and then about here. Might even scale that down a smidgen, like so. Control A, apply the location. Okay, or don't. Let's close that. Now I want to parent this cloud to our landscape. So shift left click on that. Control P, parent to object, keep transformation. So that we know at frame 301, that is what we're seeing. Let me just move that cloud over again. From here, what I'm going to do is go back to frame 1. It's the start of our animation. Shift D to duplicate that cloud that we just had. And then we're going to bring it all the way back here. Now, these should be in the exact same spot. So if I click on this one, y equals 6.39. And then if we select our other one, it's a little bit off. I hate you so much. How much does the land move? We can work out that. We'll do maths. We go from invalid input. We go from minus 654 minus, let's go to frame now 301. Let's now copy that. So let's copy all this into the calculator. Control V, 654, blah, 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 minus, and then let's go back down to frame 300. There we go. We'll grab all that into our calculator. Minus, Control V equals, that is the number moved. So that means now we can get rid of that first cloud, select our second cloud, Shift D to duplicate, back to frame 1, and then I should be able to go minus Control V. Ah, dang it, wrong way. Let's go plus Control V, and we're now on top of it. So now we've got both clouds over the top, and we should get a looping animation.